for the Chicago-Detroit province for all of the personal backing and the financial backing that it has provided to Charis Ministries over these very many years. Having said all that, I want to introduce you to the Provincial of the Chicago-Detroit province, Father Tim Kasicki.
Good evening. I'm very grateful to Pam for inviting me and this opportunity to be with all of you. I think it's important to realize if you look at the founding mission of the Society of Jesus, which is something called the formula of the Institute, Jesuits were called upon to minister to the Word in any form of ministry possible. And that ministry was to bring consolation to poor souls. People who didn't have the access to spiritual direction, to all the things we have now to bring meaning, purpose, and life to others. And so that's why when my predecessors in the Chicago province decided to forge into new territory, to work specifically with young adults in Charis ministry, it really is an outgrowth out of that founding mission of the Jesuit order. It's administration of the Word to bring consolation to souls. 21st century is a little more complex than the 16th century. And so we have to look at things differently. We have to entertain new ideas. We understand what we're up against. And yet, I'm sure in all the people you encounter, they are hungry for that consolation, for that peace, which we believe the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola are uniquely qualified to provide. There's so many armchair sociologists and ecclesiologists who say, well, this new generation, they're spiritual, but they're not religious. And we're hearing all of these facile distinctions which mean nothing. They're far more complex than that. And the way in which we best engage is through relationship. And that relationship has to be one-on-one, it has to be interpersonal. And you're doing this with a new generation. And for that, I am very grateful. The Jesuits have made a commitment to Charis Ministries. We want to continue that commitment, but we also want to make sure that the roots of Charis grow deeper than us. And so we're working with Pam to see how can we make Charis so deeply rooted that it doesn't depend on who's in my chair or who's even in your chair, but so that this great ministry will bear fruit for years to come. And that's something we are working on. But I think a gathering like this, and already meeting some of you from California to the East Coast, Wichita, Kansas, some wonderful places that you come from, symbolizes the beautiful national and international fabric that is present here. And I think it's a sign of things to come. I just want you to know how grateful I am for your participation, for your contribution, and for your love and passion of the Word. And there's nothing more healing, nothing more life-giving than the Word of God, which brings hope particularly to troubled souls and is the future of the church through your ministry. So I thank you very much for
that. Being a vocation director, I said, I need that to relate to young adults in such a meaningful way. And I thought it was the most wonderful experience for that age group. I mean, it was deep, it was interactive, it was spiritual, it was fabulous. I said, we got to bring these retreats here. They are wonderful. You know, it would be great connections, great, you know, formation for young adults. I called Janine, I said, can we bring Charis to Baton Rouge? How does that work? You know, partners didn't exist yet, you know, it was everything at the very beginning. And so I said, it will be the best retreat we can do. It will be one very solid Ignatian spirituality. Let's do it. So it happened. And well, now there is a little new frontier. As you can see, I have an accent. Never lost it. I am originally from Havana. There are so many Hispanic young adults and others in the church today here that we really need to, you know, right away I told Becky and Pam, I said, can we make these retreats bilingual for young adults that are in that generation of, you know, Spanish and English, you know, both languages? And so I said, I'll offer myself, can we do it? So this is a new little frontier that we're beginning to embark in. We're in that process. You know, we need prayers and we need hands and hearts and money to help us with that. But it's going to happen because, I mean, the church of the future is going to be bilingual. And so I am delighted to be part of it, and I am very, very delighted. Thank you.
So for more than a decade, Charis has been at this. We're entering our second decade. Very excited about several things that we're involved with new initiatives like the Hispanic Initiative, like the initiative to the military as well, and to young married couples, and other things that we have going on. And what I want to say is that we're always receiving from the young adults who participate in our retreats, we're always receiving such wonderful comments and thank yous for what we do, for what you do. With this year, over 700 young adults were actually in Charis retreats around the country. We reached in total about 1,200 young adults with our various things that we have going on. I mean, that's just a lot of seeds planted. And we know that they're going to bear fruit. And we know it because of what they tell us about the experience they've had in your retreats and in our retreats here in Chicago. They're saying, I mean, and in their words, they're thanking us for learning more about my faith and the tools of Ignatian spirituality, finding a community of other adults who care about God. So, as Father Kosicki was saying, you know, we hear a lot of bad news about young adults, but we know when we gather young adults who have God in their lives and for whom it's really an important thing, we know how powerful it can be to get them together with each other. And to discover God calling me to work for justice in my life. So what do we do with our faith? Helping them gather to break that open for themselves and to hear other young adults' stories of how they're living the faith. So as we start this second decade, we're just so grateful for the many people who have who supported us in the first decade and who continue to support us and really enliven this ministry for us. And in a very particular way tonight, we want to honor those donors who really, without their support in the first decade of Charis, it wouldn't have happened. So these are our founding donors, and we have two of them with us here tonight, Peg Anderson and Angie Anderson, who with her husband Jim, God rest his soul, were great supporters of Charis, and were both involved on our board early on. And these, their generous gifts of time and financial support, as well as those of our other founding donors, really, again, made it possible for us all to be sitting in this room tonight. Again, we're so grateful to have everyone here with us. Thank you to all the partners for coming in from all over the country. We're just, we're so happy to be with you in community. And we so look forward to the future for Charis and what we'll all build together for the young adults. Hundreds of them have already gone through Charis retreats, and hundreds more will, hopefully, with God's grace. Thank you.